renovation of our bathroom. Long awaited, not by me, long dreaded by me, right Penny?
Yeah.
So we've been working on this RV for a while now, and we are at the point now where it's time to open this door and get to this bathroom. So it's not terrible. Fairly new toilet, but you know, it's kind of gross in here. You know, the countertop is kind of falling apart. You know, it doesn't smell all that bad, but you know, it's old, it's ugly, and we are going to totally redo this kitchen, or this bathroom. Not really totally sure how we're going to do it yet. We're still discussing the options, but this is the before shot. So yeah, it's standard RV bathroom, I guess. And when we're done, she should look a lot different. So the door is down now, so I've got some sunlight in here. It's a little bit brighter. But I think we're going with like a blue on the cabinets instead of going all white like we've done throughout the rest of the RV. White on the walls, and we're going to continue the floor right on into here. The toilet is probably the only piece that's going to stay. We're getting rid of the sink, getting rid of the countertop. We're going to leave the footprint here, so those will stay too. The walls, and there's stuff hidden behind those walls. There's a bunch of pipes that go through there, so we've got to leave it. But I think what we're going to do is make this a little bit wider. There's really no need to have that little bit of space. Make it a little bit wider. I don't know, it might help us for something. I don't know, I'll talk to the boss first, but give it a little bit of space because I'm going to rebuild countertops for this. But we're going to pretty much leave the rest of this in place. Interesting tidbit. The lid that was on here was apparently in such bad shape that it just completely decayed and corroded off. So apparently when it's been raining, it's been coming straight down into here. Can't tell, luckily enough. There's no water damage anywhere, so I don't really know how that happened, but I'm gonna have to replace that too. So these this countertop is held on by a couple of brackets here, so the hard part is getting to them. This is basically how the kitchen was too. Hope you can see this. But just have to go around methodically and take them all down, and then the countertop should come off fairly easily. So he says now. What are you gonna do?
I gotta go what?
You coming to help me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good girl, Penny.
I gotta go what?
Well, I'm under the sink now, and as you can imagine, it's tight quarters back here.
Daddy, I gotta go paint.
You're gonna paint? Oh my goodness, okay. Just pretend, okay? But there's not a whole lot of room to work back here. There's several screws. You got one here, one there. That's what I'm working on currently. A couple of brackets back here, and there's one more over here. And I am slightly suspicious that I'm going to have to take out this little panel. You painting me? I think I'm going to have to take this panel out because I think we're in the same boat as over here. I think there's going to be some screws to remove. But of course they put a panel in there just to make it harder. And this is how the sink is in. These little plastic pieces here. But I'm going to take those out too and get rid of the sink. Oh, and we got my painter here. Penelope the painter.
I need these gloves so I don't
Yeah.
get paint on my hands.
So after removing all the bolts underneath, just able to tug it on out. And I didn't disconnect the faucets at the directly underneath the faucet. I just unscrewed some of these supply lines, and I don't know if you can see or not, but the supply lines, I just disconnected them here because it'll be a lot easier than to reach underneath that whole thing. So I just have to tug that out, and then I'm good to go. I can remove the sink All right, so now that that's out, I can see down in here a lot better. This was the location of the famed marijuana stash. Somebody must have threw it down behind the sink. It's pretty gross back there. Gonna get that good covering of bleach. But can't stop now. Gotta get moving. Gotta finish this project. I gotta bring this little panel out so I guess there's a couple screws underneath here, so I've got to get that out too. So I was able to pop this thing out by starting over here, because of the way this one's done makes it a little difficult. But there's a couple screws under here that have to come out. So let me get those out and keep going. So I was able to get this panel off. Just be careful if you do this yourself. Just be careful of the electric there. I chose to leave it in because I need the light, because the lights don't work in here, so I need light. So this is what it looks like behind there, just in case you ever have the need to wonder. But I'm not interested in the skeleton, I'm interested in the screws underneath to get this countertop off. So there were 4 screws over in this section. Actually a little more than that. 2 brackets over here in the corners, 1 right here and 1 right here, and that's it. So she should be ready to come off. There's like this little tack strip that is on the back. It's kind of hammered in, so that probably needs to be chiseled up. I don't think I'm gonna need to pry. I think I got all the spots. These pieces are moving off, so make sure I got them all. I'm trying to keep this intact because this is going to be my tracer piece for the new countertop that's going to go in here. I'm going to match it up exactly, maybe add an inch, but it will help greatly if I can just copy this thing. It feels like there might be one more stuck in here somewhere. So after all that looking around, turns out there's another bracket under there that I completely missed. So once we get that out, I'm guessing this will come out pretty smooth. All right, so it looks like she'll come up. Yeah, there we go. So let's get this bad boy out in one piece. Find somewhere to put this so that it doesn't get broken. That means somewhere far away from my children. So the toilet is up. It was fairly simple other than a rusted bolt, but just 2 bolts and pull it right up. This thing is light as air. I was expecting the weight of a regular bathroom toilet, but it was super light. So now I'm just going to pull up this vinyl floor and prep it for reno. The bathroom has been doused in bleach. I think there's a Nirvana song about that. What is that, soaked in bleach? Well, that's what this room has gone through. I've sprayed bleach on this place like an Ebola victim was in here. So it smells cleaner than it's ever smelled in this place. It helps that I've got the toilet area capped off so nothing can come out. But it is stripped to the bone. And I'm going to begin by painting her up and making this place look totally different. So the demo is, I guess, officially done for this RV. This was the last spot to be demoed. So kind of sad to be done demoing because that's always fun. But I'm really, really looking forward to putting this all back together and not having to do this anymore because I'm kind of getting tired of it. It's taken forever and I want it done. So let's get to this. Let's make this bathroom nice. So the bathroom is all prepped and it's painting time. So we went with Sherwin-Williams Showcase, which you can get at one of the big box stores. And the color we went with is this, something blue. It's actually called something blue. But my wife is the color pro, so Amy went with this one, and I definitely agree with her. I like it a lot. But I've kind of torn this place down and we're gonna start painting it now. One thing is, if your Winnebago's anything like ours, sometimes this ugly wood here, it's really only a veneer. And if you've seen my kitchen episode, you've seen all the work I've had to do where you can't just sand this stuff down. In a lot of cases we've painted over it, but in many cases the veneer is actually peeling off. So what I chose to do here was I peeled it off nice, and it came off in one big piece, and then I took denatured alcohol and I just kind of rubbed it down and then scraped the glue right off of it. So it's actually pretty good. I should be able to paint right over it, but let's go with the blue here and see what it looks like when I get done. So now comes the countertop. I have the old one in storage. Not really in storage, but I have it somewhere. And I'm going to copy the pattern because this rounded part here makes it a little difficult for measuring. So I'm going to just copy the old layout and not really change it up a whole lot. Just going to put this wood together and you know, we'll rough it first and see how it goes. And then I think I'm going to use like kind of the coating that you use in a restaurant for a restaurant table. For this countertop that I did out here, I just sealed it several times with a polyurethane. And while that's good, I wish I had used the, I can't even think of what it's called. Is it shellac or something? Just like a vinyl covering. I'll have the name for it shortly and I'll say it on here, but that way it's really resistant to water. My kids, if I were to show you a video of my kids' bathroom right now, I don't know what they do with their toothpaste, but they just smear it all over everything, so it's got to be easy to clean. So I took the old countertop and I recreated it. Made it a little bit wider on here, so I've got a little bit more storage. And basically used the same dimensions. Cut out a new hole for the sink. It's a little different than the old one. And I'm getting ready to finish it. I saw this on sale yesterday at Lowe's and I'm going to give it a shot. It looks fairly simple. I did a test piece already and this is what it looks like. Same piece of wood. And it's super easy. It's just 2 spray paints basically. A distresser spray and a wood tint. But I'm going to give this thing a shot and then we're going to put the lacquer on top of it so that it's waterproof. Because my kids make a mess whenever they brush their teeth and whatever it is. I'm sure anybody else's kids do that, or is that just mine? But let's see how this looks after we do this Krylon vintage burnt wood finish. So these are the cans that come in that Krylon package, and I'm hoping this isn't worse. Stain would be so easy. I'm so used to using stain. This is kind of a new thing, and I put all this work into making this thing and cutting it out with a jigsaw, and I just hope I don't ruin it here. But I think the key is less is more. So let's start off with the distressing spray. The wood tint comes on immediately afterwards. So they say to make sure you spray this stuff about 6 to 8 inches away after you shake it for a while. So I've already shaken this for quite a bit, but you just kind of hit it up like this. Make sure you get this area down here. And we just want kind of a light coverage. You can always add more apparently. And I'm going to go ahead and, I don't want to wait too long, I'm going to now use this distressing spray. I'm not sure what it does, but I'm just following the directions. I'm going to use a little bit more here. It's a little darker than this. It's pretty cool. Not bad. Just have to make sure you don't do kind of what I just did there. Let it all condense in one spot. That's what I was trying not to do. But hopefully it'll look random now. I don't know. But I didn't ruin this. And this is the wood tint. Goes on second. Again, I don't know what this does. Just following the old directions there. Well, long story short, I don't like it at all. Highly do not recommend this Krylon garbage. It just looks like I spray painted it brown. The patterns, everything, maybe there's a special way of doing it, but I'm just going to fix it with what I know. I'm going to hit it with some stain, and hopefully these spray paint looking streaks are gone. It's really bright out here, so sorry if you can't see it, but the stain really saved this project. I think the stain looks much, much better. I should have just done stain in the first place. This is my favorite. I love the early American stain from Minwax. I just really like the color. We use it in our kitchen, and I've just always liked it. Really good warm brown. So I'm happy with how this looks now. Definitely don't recommend that Krylon stuff. It just looks like bad spray paint. So here is the countertop, and I'm mixing up a glaze coat. And this is the glaze coat that we're using here. I'm about 10 minutes into stirring it. I used it on a little project here in the house, so I think I worked out the bugs that way. But this is the what it's going to go on, the countertop for the bathroom. I'm pretty proud of it. Getting these lines in there, these curves. It looks pretty sleek, if I do say so myself. And once I put this on, it'll really protect it. So once I finish stirring, I will just pour it on and spread it out. Should be fairly easy. You just want to stir it and get the bubbles out. And there's the final product. Nice and smooth and shiny. Gonna let it dry overnight and look good in the morning. And then we'll install it. So the countertop is done and the resin is hardening right now. So in the meantime, I'm going to put this thing back together. Down here, I had some spare plywood. And these RVs, they put them together with particle board. And the second they get wet, they just swell right up. So I used some old plywood and covered it in the resin. So it looks a lot better. And again, it's just the inside of my sink. But right now I'm working on these pipes here. I'm taking off these fittings that came with the RV. They work great for RV fixtures, but I don't want to use an RV fixture. Those usually look pretty cheap, at least in my opinion. So I just went ahead and bought one from Lowe's. Just a normal, regular Pfister fixture. I say that 10 times fast. So usually, in my experience with the kitchen, if you watch that video, I'll link to it below. There is a problem usually when you buy these store-bought ones connecting to RV fixtures like this. So in my kitchen, I had to use one of these guys, and I just used a shark bite just because it's easier. And the connector that comes with these things just goes right into there and screws in. So it's just a lot easier than to connect something to this thing here. I tried it, and it could not quite connect well enough, and it leaked. So I'm just going to go ahead and hook it up with the shark bite. A lot easier. And this is the new countertop in place. Looks pretty good. Nice and shiny and clean. There's the underneath part there that I put together. So as you can see, I changed these valves here at the top and got rid of those old school RV valves. Put those in there. It'll be a lot smoother, and I'll show you when I hook those up what I mean. But it should be a lot easier. And a brand new, nice, clean J pipe there, J bend or whatever you call those things. The old one was really gross. I'm not going to show it. So the bathroom is coming along nicely here. We've got the faucet in, the countertop down, some tile in. Loving it. I just did this to the mirrors last weekend, framed them in. I've got the door off, and I'm doing the same thing to the mirror that's on there. The lights are back on, and last couple bits we've got to do here. We've got to replace this toilet, which honestly it's probably fine, but it's ugly, and I can't even get over the thought of people doing their business here. So we're not even going to try to salvage it. We're just going to get a new one. So we went with currently we have a Dometic, but I couldn't tell you anything about it because we've never used it. It's been sitting here unused since we bought the RV, but after doing some research, we went ahead and bought another Dometic. I think that's how you say it. But we bought another Dometic. This one has a hand washer on it, or a little hose, I guess, which supposedly really helps out. But going to replace the toilet now, and hopefully it's supposed to be about a half-hour job to do. I hope it's that simple. I'm just excited to get rid of this one because it just feels gross. It's fairly simple. I've already pulled it out and I've stuffed a bag down there to keep the smell from coming up. But it's just two little connections there that you have to remove and connect to your water pipe coming out of the wall. The toilet that I'm replacing, this one, is super light, so I should be able to get that out pretty easily. And the new one that came is pretty heavy. So I'll show you that in a second as soon as I get this toilet off. Alright, so the toilet is off, and this was my makeshift plug. But this is there's a little rubber seal there, and hopefully that comes with the new one. And that smell here, this has been keeping the smell out actually. I'm going to keep it plugged for a little bit until I get ready to replace it, but that's all we've got. So when we put the floor in, we cut right around that flange, that circular piece there, and ours is in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to replace it. But it should just be a matter of setting the toilet down, replacing these screws here that hold the toilet down, and hopefully it's going to be that simple. Let's hope so. So I'm back here working on the new toilet that I installed, and right off the bat I stripped the water valve as I was trying to put the water hose back on. So just in case you ever need to replace your water valve, it basically clicks right into the back here with these two little brackets, and then there's also a screw right here. I'm not going to go into the whole process of it because I still need to get this guy off of here. Sorry it's not focusing very well, but this little clamp here makes it really difficult. I've got to cut it off apparently when I've got to get up in this from this cramped spot to go get a different tool. So I'm not going to show you that. But basically I took the water valve off my old toilet because it was working great and it's identical, and I'm just going to swap this bad boy right back into here. It pops right in, and I made sure this time to screw it in ahead of time, make it a little easier, and don't screw it too hard. It's just made out of plastic. But yeah, this is the last little step for the toilet here. I bought a Dometic 310, I believe. It has a ceramic base and a wide chair here, so supposedly it feels like a real toilet. We'll see about that, and I'll let you know, and you'll have to take my word for it. But this is the last spot. It's cramped up business doing this. Not really enjoying this part of the job, but it'll get done. So I've removed this little wall here, and I've doubled the storage that's in there. Now the old one was really pointless anyway. It only went in about that far. I don't even know how you could hold like a hairspray container in there. But now I'm going to extend it as far back as I can, so it'll give us pretty good storage now, and double it. So that should really help once that goes back in. So this is the additional storage that I built for the bathroom. The old one only came to about here. Actually, I guess it was about that high. And there really wasn't much you could do with it. And it was like probably that shallow as well. But it was kind of pointless to even have there. So what I did was I deepened it and I made it a lot higher. So what I'm going to do now, I guess you would call it a little bit of a hack, but originally there were some holes cut in and some metal bars, and that's all well and good, but if you've got something that's a little bit bigger, now all of a sudden you can't put it in there. So I've used this a couple times through our RV, but this is just a short, quick way to add storage and allow it to expand. So basically you take this little cord here. I'm doing this with one hand, so forgive me, but you basically wrap it around your new cabinet area piece here. And if you wanted to keep it this high, you could, but the point of this is, you mark an area where you want it to go, and then this little bungee cord here will hold everything in and keep it pretty tight. In order to get it to fit snugly against, the wall in there, you'll want to cut a little piece out there so that this will actually fit in kind of flush with the wood. So I'm going to do that now with my table saw, and we'll see how it looks, and then we'll slide her in and see what the new storage looks like. There's not much sticking out, just enough to cover the width of the bungee cord. And we've got this area marked here. We're just gonna do this simple cut and just create a little channel there for the bungee cord to rest flush. So let's go. All right, so the channels are cut, and we're gonna give this thing a dry fits here to see how we got her on here. We're just gonna click her right in. So as you can see there, it's pretty close to flush. It's also flush in the front. It's important to do it in the front as well, because I'm going to put molding on the outside of this when I install it. But this little piece in the back, if you do this yourself, just make sure you have enough room for that in the back. I do, so it won't be a problem, but just make sure you've got that little bit of room to spare there. So let's put the second one on, and now we've got some additional storage in the bathroom. So the bathroom is now complete. Let me show you how wonderful and amazing this new bathroom is. Pretty proud of it. So if you remember how ugly this thing was, it has come a long way. You can see we've got the countertops redone, everything painted up. It's not completely done yet. There's still a couple little things to do, which I'll talk about, but I wanted to show you where we've gone and what the progress looks like so far. So with these cabinets, we love how this blue paint turned out, and we found these awesome little glass knobs that look like they're 100 years old, but they're very new, and they're bought at Lowe's is where we bought these, in case you're interested in doing the same thing. With these mirrors, we just reused the old mirrors that are up here, and we used just some trim work, and we stained it brown, and just kind of tacked it up over the existing mirrors. Same thing with this little area here. Just looks a lot nicer. One of the things I love the most is this tile work. It's very simple. We just bought these tiles. Again, I believe it was at Lowe's, not endorsing them in any way. But this is where we bought these tiles from, and we just love this little pop of color. It just really matches the blue. Really happy with how that turned out. Same with this countertop. It's nice and sleek. These curves would have been really hard to create on my own, but being able to copy the existing one really helped with that. This little storage area here, again, really happy with that. The old one, again, was probably only about this size, and we were able to almost double the amount of storage, and we made it a lot deeper as well. So, back before I did the work, it would only go into about this far, and I don't even know what you could store in here. But now we can put shampoo bottles, hairspray, whatever it might be that we'll need for this area. But this is where we are. The toilet still hasn't been used yet, still has not been christened, but we went ahead and upgraded the toilet to a good Dometic that has a nice wide seat. Hopefully that creak goes away. That supposedly feels like a real home toilet. So again, we'll see how that actually works out. But it's got this nice little thing here to help put things down the toilet, apparently. Some little work over here. We took the old toilet paper holder and just spray painted it, the chrome that we've been doing, the satin, what is it called? Satin pewter look. So that looks pretty good, and have to find like a nice little bar that goes in there that kind of matches it instead of that cheap white plastic. This little piece I've got to screw in there. I just noticed that, but I've got to, do little final touches. We made sure we used a GFCI here. So if you're, doing electric work around a kitchen, you want to make sure you protect yourself with a GFCI outlet. That way, in case something gets dropped into your sink full of water, you won't electrocute yourself. So be very careful with that kind of stuff. And one other big improvement was this light in the roof. If you remember at the beginning of this episode, I walked in here and it had completely decayed and eroded away. So I have a whole video on this replacement process, what we did to take the old one out, leave an empty hole in the roof, and put a new one in. That was a whole new thing for me to do, and it turned out pretty good, and gives this room a nice little bit of sunlight. So that that'll help when we're out on the road to have that nice protection above our head and not have to worry about leaking or anything like that. If you own an RV, at least an old RV, your bathroom probably looks as bad as ours did. I wouldn't say worse, because this one was really bad. But you are probably dreaming about either buying an old RV and fixing up the bathroom And I will tell you, it's a lot different than renovating your bathroom in your house. A lot different. You can't just buy these parts at a local big box store and expect them to work easily. So it is a little bit of work, but I hope this video kind of showed you some of the pitfalls that you might be able to fall into, and helped you prepare for a similar project if you're planning on doing this same kind of thing in the future. So if you like this video, hey, we'd love it if you would like it. Subscribe to our channel to see all the new stuff that's coming out. We've got some new videos on renovating our bedroom, putting new flooring in. We've renovated the whole front compartment of our RV. We're doing exterior work on the RV. We've got all kinds of videos and projects going on with this RV. So if you own an RV, if you're fixing up an old one, chances are something will apply to you. So we'd love it for you to subscribe to our channel and leave some comments below. We'd love to hear from our viewers and just hear some feedback and hear some of the projects that you're working on. So if you've done a bathroom renovation before, comment below. We'd love to read some of your stories too. So until the next time, we hope you tune in again, and thanks for watching 10,000 Roses.